Welcome to Sweeping the Country. I'm your host, Derek Walker. My co-host, Mr. Jimmy Carter. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, boy, it has been, you haven't been involved with this, but much of the country
Oh,
got really
man.
slammed by the storm.
We saw a lot of pictures, man. Nashville looked like it got...
And Nashville still is a war zone. It's bad.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It was 300,000 people at one time. I think they're real thrilled that it's down below 200,000.
Jeez.
But it's still a lot. I don't think a lot of people are getting their power back till the weekend, really.
Have you
and
been
the
through
temperature
that
is
before?
5 and 4 and stuff like that.
That's cold. It's cold.
That's why I don't live there, and there. It's,
Yeah.
I don't like winter. I don't like the kind of winter that people get in the South that are borderline people because it's ice. Ice is a bad, ski snow is okay with me. I like it.
Sure.
Powdery snow, but wet snow that's preceded by rain, then freezing rain, then sleet, then snow, that's awful.
There's really nothing you can do. I mean, you can't really drive on it in any fashion. I mean, sometimes...
But you just don't generally have that out west.
No, we
do
not. No, we do not. I mean, we've talked about this before about the freezing fog. That's about as bad as we get. But when the snow packs onto something and then it stays cold, you get the ice. But in the Northwest, they use a lot of chemicals to treat that, right? Which some people like, some people don't like. But it melts the ice pretty good. It works down to a certain
temperature. No, they use
temperature.
chemicals. They use
Do
salt.
you get that?
And they use something else, on the roads that kind of works, doesn't
but
work.
But it stops at 20 degrees or something like that.
Right.
Or 25.
It only works if it's in a sweet spot there.
Right.
And in this case, it was freezing rain that came. And some places got as much as a half inch of freezing rain. And so imagine if you've ever opened a bottle or a jar of apple jelly, put your finger in that apple jelly. Well, that's like what the trees, when the freezing rain hits these trees, it's like apple jelly is on them.
So they
and
get
at some
weighted.
point, they just start weighting down and start falling down. Pine trees particularly. And Nashville this week has looked like a hurricane went through there.
I saw those pictures. Power lines are down because the weight of the trees
on bad because it just weights everything, and then trees fall on the power lines.
Yeah, brutal.
And you got that. Now, what's going to happen as we get to the backside of the week toward Friday? You're going to have temperatures. They've gone up a couple of times during the day, but they'll go up a little bit more, and you start having the thawing of pipes, and pipes are going to burst.
Oh yeah, and insurance
so the water
companies...
department's ready for that. So that's the next gift that's going to keep coming to these people that lost the power in their homes for say 4, 5, 6 days. The pipes are going to blow up. I had to try to tell my daughter today, hopefully they somehow got over to their house and cut the water off at the street.
Yeah. Two options that I've used over the years. One is, yes, cut it off and don't use it if you're not going to be there. You don't need to use it. The other is to drip, and they say don't just drip it. Give it a thin string of water so it's constantly flowing, not dripping.
You see, these people bailed out of their homes before they could ever do that.
Yeah, you can turn it off at the main, and it'll save your pipes. But
so
you got to drain your water, too. I mean, they got to drain it all out.
It's just going to be a mess.
It is
it's
a
going
mess.
to be.
It is a mess.
It's going to be biblical, and you can't really live in your house with no water. So
it's
I don't know how this is going to go. And you've got 700 to 1,000 power company people in town. So anybody trying to come visit, the hotels are pretty full.
Where as I was going to say, where are they going if they can't live in their houses? Where are they going?
They're going to to friends' houses. They're going to hotels. They're going to. In fact, I looked the other day. A friend, one of his kids wanted to bail out of their home and go somewhere, and they didn't care what it cost, which is often the case.
Yeah,
and they went to the Opryland Hotel at $400 a night.
Man, I just have trouble. I have trouble leaving. I mean, if it was flooding or a fire, I guess snow is the same. It's just different. We're geared different here, so it's, I mean, we've been through power out for a week, and
that sucks. I mean, that's
it's
just really
terrible,
awful.
but we do it, and a lot of people in the Northwest have generators, so that
they had a generator, and that got them through the first day and a half or almost 2 days. But then again, when it's low, the generators kind of meant for a temporary power outage, maybe 6 hours, 8 hours,
It
something
depends.
like
Yeah,
that.
what you got. We
But
got propane generators, so
that's what
that's
they
a
should
different deal.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the other one that's hooked to the natural gas
Then you have it all the
company
time. Yeah.
there, and then you have it all the time. And
Yeah.
then
It's just rough,
but you
boy.
don't ever expect to need it. Some people haven't turned on the generator in some places I know of around here. They're already always ready for a tornado to come
Yeah,
and
right.
tear up things, and that
Right.
takes out the power. And I don't want to be around when that's going on. And I didn't like being in hurricane, when I was in South Alabama
Yeah.
and hurricanes came, and I rode out two of them, and the hurricane itself and the winds, that's scary. It didn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the aftermath when you don't have power,
Yeah.
when it's humid or it's cold or it's hot,
Yeah.
at one of the extremes. It's just, I don't want to be there. So I just have to,
Yeah.
I just left, when those things go on.
No, I get it. I get it. Fortunately for us, we've just been really cold, but we're not getting any
And,
precipitation.
the West, the way I understand it, has had a very light snow season.
It's
I'm,
awful. I mean, if
in Denver, it's awful the way I
all of
understand,
it,
in the
yeah.
mountains around the Denver area.
Yeah, it's true.
They're not particularly even snow-covered mountains. I mean, they're up there, but I'd say they're about half covered.
Yeah, that's us.
And then I guess they have to make snow and just all that. It's just
Yeah, I mean,
weather's crazy right now.
Yeah,
Weather's really crazy.
you are 100% right. They're making snow, and then the big picture is the water supply when spring comes. Because if there's no snow, then we're not going to have that kind of water, right? So, a lot of
That's
recreation
going to be
is
a whole another problem coming
exactly.
down. Road. So
Exactly.
anyway, the winter storm, I don't know. It really paralyzed northern Mississippi. Oxford got hit real bad. Nashville, Middle Tennessee got hit real bad.
Unreal.
Alabama dodged the bullet real big time.
You didn't
There
get
was
it.
like a warm air thing that was almost like a hand over the state, and it got all around
crazy.
North Georgia. Got hit pretty hard. 200,000 people without power. And then when you've got something like this, you're talking not millions but billions of dollars in economic impact.
Oh, of course, yeah.
With the loss of people working, loss of sales, loss of building, and you've got to rebuild. The insurance companies get hit extremely hard. I know a lot of people lost their cars.
Oh, yeah.
Trees falling on their cars. That's very
Well, and you
very
just
common.
you just said it a minute ago with the insurance companies. Once those pipes start to break, you got a whole nother bunch of claims, right?
Yeah.
And flooding
So
and
it's
all
just,
that.
and
yeah.
plus you don't want to have to go through that.
No, it's
You
horrible.
don't.
It's the worst. It's
So
the worst.
I don't know where you go to try. I don't think there's really anywhere that you can go to avoid the problems of the earth. I don't care if it's in
You're right.
Texas
You're right.
or California
Right.
or, I mean, Idaho's about as, you guys don't seem to have
It's
anything
pretty.
going there.
I mean, I hate to say it because I don't want a mass group of people just going, "Hey, let's
It
move
gets
there."
cold up there, though.
It
but-
does get cold, but we get the sun. We get 100 degrees in the summertime. The only thing we have here, really, besides the snow, is we're sitting right by the volcanoes. So
Well, that's true, too. You don't know when that's going to light up.
no,
That's
and
kinda
we'll be
scary.
gone. There will be no. I won't be here.
Yeah,
when
you'll
that
get
happens.
blown up. But I mean, I think all of us will get smoked.
To an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
It'll
That is true.
be a matter of, we'll be very lucky.
My dad used to say that in California, he goes, California's the best weather ever. He said, it's sunny 364 days a year. And I thought, I wonder if that's true. I mean, I wonder what the real statistic is. I don't know. But they do have good weather. I mean, but look at they
Southern
had the
California.
fire.
I've spent a lot of time there, and there's a rainy season.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, no
there
doubt
is,
about
and there's it's got some June gloom. I know that's one of the things that happens out there because the land is warm, the ocean's cold. They meet in the middle, and you get fog.
Yeah.
And it's June gloom.
I think it's just where you are at the time it happens. It's just like the
The
tornadoes.
deal is you get rich and you go and you run to the good weather.
move.
I mean, like right now,
Right.
you go to the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful, and you stay there till March or something.
That's perfect.
And-
So I looked this up. AI says Southern California, like San Diego, can have the most sun in California for the year, 266 days.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
266. See, it's still 100 days they don't.
Yeah, but that's not bad. I would get.
It's not bad. No, it's in San Diego is, I don't know about now. I mean, it used to be one of the greatest secrets.
I
was
love San Diego.
If you really want
La
to go
Jolla.
somewhere.
Oh my gosh, so
All that
beautiful.
stuff, there's a lot of fog on the on the Pacific there a little
That's
bit.
true. That
It
is
gets a
true.
little damp, and it's like San Francisco gets damp. My bones hurt thinking about being in San
It
Francisco,
is
but
cold. It is cold. It is
it's a
cold for
weird
sure.
cold. But okay, so weather, that's been the huge story for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot.
But the
Most of the
biggest
U.S.
story, obviously, is the whole meltdown in Minneapolis
Oh
of
yeah,
everything. I
yeah,
mean, and it's terrible story, and it looks bad around the world.
yeah.
Um,
It looks bad to everybody. I think.
it looks bad to everybody, going on, and
Hmm.
and I think if they don't get their arms around it, well, they're trying to now, make some changes. They sent this the bald-headed dude Tom Holman
Yeah,
there, sent
yeah.
the other guy Bogdino home, and
Hmm.
Christine home. I think she's been put in timeout. He had a 2-hour
She
meeting
had
with her.
she had that meeting today, but Trump came out and said she's not quitting, she's not resigning. But I don't know if that's true or not.
Well,
Who
I
knows?
mean, who knows? I mean, they got a lot more things to do in that department than that. But this has just been a just a big problem. I mean, it's a problem that you've got a governor and a mayor that don't support federal law enforcement. It's a problem that you've got so many people in that town that are not legal American citizens.
Hmm.
It's a problem that you got these guys that don't want to be there really. Border Patrol, they don't
Yeah,
want to
they
be
don't
in
want to be there.
Minneapolis in the middle of winter,
Hmm.
and plus with everybody cussing at them, and they've running these. I don't know if you listen to any of the sound,
Yeah,
but there's some kind of sound device, a whistle or something that
yeah.
people,
They're passing
protesters,
them out at
are
the
blowing.
protests. Yeah, they say
Yeah,
they're
those are
passing them.
very aggravating, and that's what you really want to do, morons, is
Right.
aggravate the hell out of somebody with a gun
Hmm.
and make them as nervous as possible so they might shoot you, which is
Yeah,
what, has happened on 2 different occasions. When you're yelling and screaming and yeah-yeahing at these people, yes, Americans have a right to protest, but you don't have a right to stand in the middle of the street and cuss at law enforcement people and blow whistles and just be a general jackass. And that shouldn't been tolerated. Let's do example.
hmm
If you had a criminal in your house, or I thought you did,
yeah.
okay, let's say that I got tipped that you're harboring an illegal alien that's raped 100 people and been
Okay.
convicted, and he's hiding in your house.
Hmm.
All right, I found out you're going there. I just don't come to your door and knock on it, not under these conditions.
There's no situation like that.
What they're going to do is they're going to get local police. They're going to cordon off an area about a quarter of a mile from your house, all
And
the roads leading into it, the roads leading there. You're going to have, you're going to tell everybody, if you're getting ready to make a real big deal, you say, hey, come out, and surrender, and tell everybody to stay in their homes. That's one thing you can do.
hmm
Or, what are you going to do? Just bust in there sometimes if you're going to surprise people. And that's one way they do it, and guard it and see if he's going to run out the back door or whatever. Had a U.S. Marshals take down a guy just last night,
hmm
a mile from my house. What they did is they cordoned down the highways around it, and they went in there, and it took time. But the guy had gone up and hidden in the ceiling.
Yeah, yeah.
He had cut a hole in it and gone up in the ceiling,
Well,
so they didn't find him until they knew he was there, and he finally, I don't know how they figured out he was in the ceiling, but they did. So
did they?
this whole thing in Minneapolis, allowing the protesters to be as crazy as they've been, and I don't mean gassing them all the time. I mean pushing them back to a perimeter that they cannot bust.
Yeah, or
And
that
then whatever you need to do, go do it. But I just think a lot of people need to go to jail that aren't going to, protest. They were protesting at the state capitol in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
in St. Paul rather, today. Okay,
right.
as long as they do it in a civil manner, they can be there and protest. I mean, that's what you want to do in the state capitol. That's where your legislators are. But to go out and just cause trouble and blow whistles and aggravate these people, I mean, they've got a job to do. It's a federal law. If you don't like it, change it.
Yeah, you're right, and I think their way of thinking they're going to change it is to cause enough trouble that.
Well, in that regard, I think they've actually kind of won a little bit on this. I don't think it's over up there because I don't think they're gonna fall back and retreat and then come back.
They'll
There's going to be
regroup.
another way of doing this, I think.
Well, you
But,
you
yeah.
you laid something out for me, and as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about every NCIS or any of those shows we've ever watched, right? That's the depth. Besides the fact that I had a friend who was an undercover cop for 20 years, but otherwise, that's a depth of my knowledge of how this works. But every time, you're right, they cordon off an area, and what do they say? Stay in your homes. And they do that for your own safety, right? Because this could get messy, and we don't want it to get messy, and you could end up being a casualty of something we didn't want to happen. So please stay out.
What worries me in this thing is I'm afraid, and they won't admit it, but I think they've been told. Everybody, I think, and I think most people, certainly 75% of America, was, yes, if there are people here who are convicted felons, bad apples, bad people,
right,
and they're here, we don't want these people in our neighborhood. We don't want
get
them
them
in our
out.
country.
Yeah, get them out.
Okay, that was what we all were doing, thinking, okay. And then they started picking up anybody that just didn't have their citizenship papers right. Whether they were in a gardeners or maids or whatever they were just doing, and they were getting anybody. And in some cases, they got wrong people. But they got anybody, and I think that was a quota deal. They wanted to show that they were getting big numbers because their numbers weren't big if they were just getting rapists and that kind of thing. They were getting some, but it wasn't impressive. And I think that someone told them to get their quotas up. Let's just show we deported 19,000 people this month or whatever. And I think that made them go for all kinds of things. And the fact that the local people aren't helping them,
that's making it worse. Yeah, it's making it
just
worse.
made everything worse up there. And you saw where the protesters, who I'm sure are paid, and I really wish they would bust some of those people out.
I do too.
These are not viral. These are not legitimate people. Some of them are.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you some of these are very paid out-of-state people. And I've seen that too many times, and I guarantee you they are. But anyway, the ones that tore up the sign at the Hilton.
Oh, yeah.
And,
what the heck was that?
And bloodied up the guy that was guarding the door.
He had bleeding all over the place. Yeah.
I mean, that's just way out of line.
Well, I don't understand. I mean, two things for me. One is, no matter where you come from, right? If you're a criminal, you should be detained, locked up, trial, whatever you do, back to your country. I don't understand why all of a sudden these criminals are off the hook, even though we don't know much about them. People are protecting them. Why aren't they protecting, George Johnson, who's a rapist down the street? No, he needs to go to jail.
And see, people
but this guy doesn't.
If they know that this guy is a rapist and they're protecting him,
right?
I think they need to go to jail too.
Well, there's a law about that too, right? I mean,
harbor and abetting. I mean, doing all obstruction of justice.
Yeah.
And I think that some of these politicians, to me, are breaking the law. If I read some of the law right about telling people to do this and do this, that's like tell them to go after these federal officers that are following laws. I mean, are they cowboys, some of them? Yeah, you'd have to be to go do that job.
Yeah.
Really. But on the other, it's a terrible, it's who would want, it's like being a prison guard. Really? I mean, God bless, I guess, the people that do it. But
agree.
I mean, it's not a desirable job, some of that. And they get paid pretty good, but they're away from their families, they're freezing to death.
And their lives are in danger.
And it's just it's dangerous.
Yeah.
On top. How about the guy that got his finger bitten off? Do you hear that?
Yeah, I saw that story too. Yeah.
That's bad.
Come on.
What happened to the person that did that?
Well, and here's my other thing. If you got nothing to worry about, right? I mean, I filed my taxes. I got my Social Security card. I got my passport. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm not concerned, right? I'm not worried I'm going to get picked up. I don't understand what that's about either. But since this is all blown up in the last week, right? All these things have happened in the last week, the shooting and all that stuff. I haven't heard one word about the whole fraud in Minnesota. I haven't heard anything
seems to have
about
gone off the front page.
It's gone. It's completely gone. Nobody cares about that anymore. I mean, everything's out the window.
Well, I hope they're still doing something about it.
I'm sure they are. I just find it fascinating.
Yeah, it's gone off the front page. And you've got so many things that are going around that it's crazy. I mean, you look around the world right this minute, and Ukraine has gone off the headlines again. I have no idea what's going on over there. I know that there's been a buildup of military in the waters off of Iran.
Yeah, the aircraft carrier.
Got a whole carrier group over there.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that's driving the price of gold and silver.
Okay.
Some of it because of instability. People are worried that the world's, on the brink. You were mentioning earlier about the doomsday clock.
Yeah, what is okay, so I'm trying to
Some
read about it and I don't understand. It's getting closer to midnight. What does that mean?
It's been, I don't even remember when they started this.
It's
It
a
seemed
long
like
time
this,
ago.
I
Let me
mean, I
see.
think it's back in the 60s,
It
maybe.
is. It's very old. Yeah, it's very old.
At midnight is when we were at nuclear war.
1947.
Okay.
It started
So
in
this is
1947.
after, Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Yeah.
the atomic bombs in Japan. Uh, Someone put it up, and so now it's pretty close because we've got Russia with their back up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
We've got North Korea. Where they been lately, by the way? I haven't heard anything
Not a
about them in a long
word. Yeah,
time.
not a word.
We've got China. We've got India. You've got all these people with nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and we don't know when they might just go off the deep end and start doing something. So that's why the doomsday clock keeps ticking closer
I'm getting
because
closer.
we're poking the bear in a lot of different areas. We are, they are, all of it there. But the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group, I don't think they're over there for their health. So we'll see,
Definitely not.
what they're doing, over there. So and I hope that's not something they do to get the attention off of Minneapolis and, to
Well,
change the subject.
it seems like there is some of that because, like you just said about North Korea, right? It's almost as if when they need something and cue Minnesota and we need to cue fires, we need to cue this, and then everything else doesn't get covered anymore. And I don't understand because North Korea is still a thing. Ukraine is still a thing. Israel, I'm sure there's stuff going on there in the Gaza Strip. And
Well,
nothing.
and this is what I think some of the younger people are thinking, subliminally or otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that we are a country that used to have journalism, and we've always had uh, yellow journalism. We've always had corrupt journalism, if you want to call it, if you're on the wrong side of it.
Yeah.
We've had liberal papers, conservative papers.
Yeah, for sure.
We've had all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now it just seems like, well, it's fewer and fewer newspapers, fewer and fewer. There's almost no radio news in the country now compared to what it was. There's no, and TV news local has been cut back, and is continuing to fall.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have people that can go after government and make them do right
Fascinating.
because they don't have any power anymore. The TV news doesn't have any power. There's this woman up there that's the new boss at CBS News that's going to take them, into the next era of digital, and whether people liked it or not, that's where she's going, and she's trying to, make this mule that CBS News, do something beside carrying water. They're trying to get it to move, and it's hard to get a stubborn mule to move.
I bet.
But then you've got New York Times, it's liberal, and everything they do is, is anti-Trump. Washington Post is owned by Jeff Bezos. Editorial board is more conservative now, but the newspaper itself has stepped away a little bit from liberal, but it's still very liberal.
Yeah.
The tone is that way. But there are very few newspapers. Wall Street Journal, they seem to be close to being fair because they go after Trump every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows that they can't. But I don't know. It's just
Jimmy, I get confused with New York. There's a New York Times and the New York Post, right?
New York Post is a tabloid.
Oh, so not even in the same.
I mean, it does news, but
Yeah.
you just, it does things that are like the Daily Mail.
Gotcha. I
know,
gotcha.
and some of those, they do good. They're fast in some things.
How do you feel about the BBC's coverage?
BBC, it depends on what the story is. If I'm trying to find out what's going on in Africa, I certainly would cut on the BBC News.
Sure.
If I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the Middle East, they have a lot of contacts over there, and I probably would check them out pretty quick.
Yeah.
They have a slanted, very liberal view of the United States.
Okay, fair.
They've got their own agenda. All these different flavors. All the Europeans are not fans of Donald Trump. Media surely isn't.
Interesting.
And the loud liberal media in all these countries, they all just can't say enough bad stuff about Trump. Trump has shaken the world like nobody ever has.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we've ever. I can't think of any president really that's just with sure visibility, and he does stuff. I mean, the bombing of Iran that doesn't happen. And, when they took out the nuclear stuff and then going to get the guy in Venezuela, I mean, that definitely got the cat off on the back of some
Yeah.
people because
Could
that scares them about the United States. And then you got Canada that's got, I think they're talking I don't know what they are. 1 minute they're going to do something with China. Now they say they're not. I mean, I don't know what they want to do, but it's just, we got a lot of strange stuff.
Let me ask you something. This is my own mind going 100 miles an hour, but you and I have talked about Trump. You were talking about some of the things he does. He does this. He gives enough threat. He gives enough there, but then he only wants a little bit, like the tariff. Okay, let's make a deal or whatever he does.
Yeah.
Is it possible? I know that some of the states, the right-wing states, have been giving their undocumented or illegal aliens or illegal immigrants, because that's what they are. They're giving them over to the federal government. So if we're holding any, especially in the state I'm in, if we're holding any of these criminals, they're getting turned over to the feds, right? If we have them in our jails.
That's what they should be doing. Okay.
So all this goes on with Minnesota. Not necessarily the shooting. I think that was just situational, and things like that happen in law enforcement, I'm sure, more than people know, right? But they happen, right? In both ways, both with criminals and whatever. But do you think that Trump's hammer came down so hard on Minnesota because they weren't cooperating, they weren't giving us those people, and that's all he really wants is them to give those people to the federal government?
Well, it's Tim Walz, who was running mate for
Harris,
Kamala, who Harris is running mate, and he didn't take any prisoners, with Trump.
Yeah,
and,
true that. That's true.
And it's a very little, and it's the George Floyd city, and
sensitive to that stuff.
And they're almost, they're like 1/3 of where they're supposed to be with their police department.
Yeah.
Who would want to be a cop up there?
Nah, not me.
You've just got a lot of extremely liberal people around there, and with a very loud government that's anti-Trump, and he doesn't put up with that. He does not. It wasn't real smart for them to get the attention of the dragon.
Fair.
But
fair.
that's their right to do, and they did it, and they've faced the consequences of it. And then the Somalian people, the Congress lady up there, she's been on Trump in a very negative way.
Ilhan Omar.
And that's what they did. This bunch doesn't tolerate enemies. They go after, they challenge their enemies. And you've got some Democrats that have been elected recently, like the governor in Virginia, and she was elected to be a moderate. And she's now got a proposal of all kinds of taxes and increase in pay for all kinds of government people, and just very liberal, what you would expect from someone on the far left. So the Democrats have got their own problems with not a very good bench, but the Republicans, you've either got to completely agree with Trump or face the music after.
Yeah, also true. I think when you say the Democrats, I think they've even got a distorted perception from the sense of there's the Democrats, then there's the socialists too. I mean, there's
the socialist Democrats.
Then there's the
mayor of New York and that kind of stuff.
Right.
It is going to fly with younger people as you get cost of of things being so expensive, and you saw something just even in the world of music. For you people out there. Did you see where Watershed was canceled this year?
Yeah, what was the scoop, though? I didn't get the whole
two
scoop.
things. I mean, it's not the only festival.
Yeah.
There was one in Oregon, too, and there've been a number of them that aren't happening this year. They're saying higher production cost, which I don't doubt.
Yeah.
I don't doubt. And then they won't say it's weaker demand, but they just said soft something.
Which is weaker demand, yeah.
Which is weaker demand, soft ticket sales, advanced ticket sales, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I thought those were sold out like every year. I mean, I really did.
I just think, with the price of the tickets going up to everything, people don't have it to go do certain things.
Well, those were expensive tickets because it was a festival. I mean, you had 3 days or whatever of music, so you paid a lot. Those were expensive tickets. There's no question about it.
Yeah, those were, and then you're out there living in the
Dust
middle
Bowl.
of the desert. It just I mean, I went to it one year, but I went with somebody on a tour bus and
Yeah.
was backstage. It wasn't that bad, but I just couldn't imagine living out there in the cactus, in the desert,
Well,
for 3 or 4 days.
I
I just
remember
didn't.
my old morning partner, rest in peace, Jeff. He went to that one time and he came back and I said, "How was it?" And he said, "I'm glad I went once, but I'll never go again."
Right. It's just
The
it's
bucket list, I guess.
So I mean, anyway, you just wonder, how much longer can people in the pay for $500, $600 a night concert tickets
Yeah.
or sporting events? I mean, we really, and because we're becoming more of a haves and have not country instead of one that was made great by the middle class,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have more and more people with extreme political views.
Yeah. Wow. That's
People on the bottom end of the scale are going to say, "Hey, I can't afford this and that and the other, so I'll take, free groceries and free this and free that,"
Mm-hmm.
which is what the far left is wanting people to get, but it doesn't work in any example ever
Mm-hmm.
to give people all free stuff. I mean, I don't know. I just it's a complicated. Everything is complicated how we do it,
Mm-hmm.
but you just wish that if people working together, they might have a chance at doing some stuff.
You
But
just hit the nail on the head, and it's really, to me, the answer for all of it. It really is. If you have a conversation, you and I can disagree on what kind of car to buy. We can disagree on how to raise our kids. We can disagree on what a marriage looks like. We can disagree. But at the end of the day, if we can put aside some of that, we can still make good decisions about life in general. We can still be friends. We can still
you know what though? The people on the far, I mean, I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle on a lot of issues.
Yeah, I am
Not that I
too.
don't have opinions, but it's just
Yeah.
I'm number one. I mean, I can't even talk to someone and begin to negotiate or discuss if they can't agree that there's a man and there's a woman. Now there may be people confused about which one they are, but
Oh, there are. Yeah.
at the end of the day, there's only two choices.
Yeah, I mean you're right. I mean I get your point. I understand there's such an extreme polarity with a
In
belief
certain issues, yeah.
I agree. I mean, but I have had relatives over the years. I've had far left, I've had far right. We're still relatives.
I've got it
We
now.
still
I mean, I've got it now.
but how many times have you had someone talking to you and saying, "Oh my gosh, can you believe what, I'm just going to pick this out of thin air. Can you believe what Trump said? He's such a jackass," or whatever.
Yes.
And you stop and you don't say, "Well, no, I don't believe, he is. I believe he." You don't say anything. You just go, "You don't."
I don't. I say, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, he at times is a jackass.
So
and he
that's
takes things too far. And on the other hand, Biden and that crew were the biggest bunch of do-nothings
right.
that I've ever seen in my life.
And logically, I agree with you. And from a standpoint of logic, I can say, yeah, you and I, yeah, we don't necessarily see eye to eye. I'm left, you're right. I'm right, you're left. Whatever. But we still can see logic. We still have common sense, and we can still rationalize things. And
Yeah,
go,
you've got to
okay,
have borders to be a country.
no question.
Nobody in the world,
No question.
nobody in the world does this.
No
But when
question.
they opened up the borders and just let every damn person in, that was just really, really
It was
bad.
horrible. How many should we let in? We're never going to agree.
I mean, even
We're
the
never gonna
liberal
agree.
press was looking down 60 Minutes and people
Yeah.
down there in San Diego where someone had cut a hole in something. And these people were walking in, these Chinese men and all these people that were not hard on their luck people.
Yeah.
These guys looked like soldiers
Wow, that's
that were
scary.
walking in. They probably are. They probably are sleeper cells.
I
But
hope-
we
I
just
hope
hadn't
you're
found
right.
out about it yet. But I'm just there was so much harm that was done to the country by that, for whatever their reasoning was for it. And
Yeah, I don't know.
knew the original reason. I was kind of told with the original reason, at least in Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
they were building these hotels
Mm-hmm.
and building these monster, bigger hotels, and they couldn't find anybody to work in them. They needed maids.
Mm.
They needed people to be able to make up the beds and to cook and to clean and to do that. They needed a lot more people than they had if they were going to continue to expand and
Interesting.
make more money. So they loosened up, or in some cases just came over,
Opened up, yeah.
and got the people that were dying to come and work there and make money like that. And so there you go, boom. And then those people, in many cases, they were unionized and they voted Democrat. So in the
Is
long
that
run,
when the light bulb went on and they said, "Oh, hey, we could just do this all the time"?
I'm saying, well, let's do this on a bigger scale.
Right.
And now I don't know about the Somalis all coming over. Some of this were church groups
Yeah.
that thought, that because there's a lot of people in Africa that are pitiful, and
I would
so
agree.
they started bringing over all these folks, from Somalia and other places, and and then one thing led to another, and then it's just people overstayed their visas, and it was bad decisions after bad decisions, and
Yeah.
many of them happened during. I think a lot of people in the Democratic Party that were the gatekeepers said, well, "Let's get them all in. We'll get them on. We'll let them get on welfare. We'll let them, do all this health care stuff, and then they'll vote for us because there's no way they're going to vote against us."
Wow.
And I'm sure that was a lot of it like that. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing with you at all, and whether or not we say, yeah, well, we should let in, 1 million people a year, or we should let in 500,000. We don't, we hope that the people we put in power can make those decisions to keep
Well, they
everything.
were trying to help their team.
But
I mean, that was their
God.
logic of
Yeah,
doing it. It
yeah.
was to help their team.
Yeah.
And so they were doing whatever it took to help their team.
But it's always
And the way the
it's always-
Democratic Party works is you get all these coalitions together,
Yeah.
and it makes one big. Go look at a Democratic convention.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and I've heard it said, and I won't be the first person to say it, it looks like a Star Wars bar
Okay. Fair.
because it's every dysfunctional person that's all teamed up, and they're all on this team.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, too much, the Republican looks, like it's too clean cut,
Like a
and
Barbie kind of
preppy
movie.
and like the Stepford Wives.
Wow, not wrong. I mean, you're not wrong about it at all. The only problem with
but
all
it's
of it,
not that way completely on either side, but it is in the extreme in a cartoon maker's look. And right now, we've just got people that feel the Hollywood crowd. They are so anti-Trump, anti-Republican that I do think they keep people from working that have different political views than they do. And it's sick. We're just way too polarized in this country right now.
I
We're really
agree.
polarized.
I agree, and I feel like a lot of the decisions that are made. I mean, we look now at a group that's saying, "Hey, we're not going to approve any budgets. We're going to freeze everything. Government, we're going to stop again, and blah blah blah." And holding us hostage. I think it's with every decision they make because the sides are there's such a gap in the middle now that one side stops it here and one side stops it there, and we are the least productive people that there ever could be. And I don't know what the fix is for that, but I'm tired of getting held hostage as a citizen of the United States. I mean, the government at some point has got to say, hey, we can't use the people as pawns anymore. These guys are pawns all the time. We're shifting it back and forth. It's really a terrible situation to be in.
And we have so many issues that need to be dealt with.
You're right.
And we're not going to get it done with everybody hating each other all the time.
You're right.
And so what is going to happen in the future?
I don't know,
I
but
think what you're going to have is a compromise candidate. What I think it's got a good chance of happening is somebody that seems more reasonable, like the governor of Kentucky or the governor of Pennsylvania, one of those two that seem to, they're young and they're not, dead. They're reasonable sounding people when you see them talk and you listen to them. And because people are going to want to calm things down after Trump. It's just that's why Biden got elected.
You're talking about Andy Beshear, the governor. Yeah. I hate to jump
those
way
kind
ahead.
of people are And there may be others.
I like him, but I don't even know if I trust what he's saying. Is he going to be that same
No,
person
you
when he
don't
gets
know.
there?
You don't know. It's just if whatever the commercials make these people look like.
Right.
But
Right.
people are tired already in just 1 year of Trump. I don't know how exhausted they're going to be at the end of 4.
I don't either.
If it keeps up like this, where something's stirred up all the time, and
Well,
it's
it's the same. It's the same formula they used last time, and we didn't win.
chaos.
Yeah, we didn't
Chaos,
win.
resist.
So we're gonna
Yep.
stomp our feet like 5-year-olds, and I just wish that both sides, and I don't mean it just on the Democrats or just on the Republicans, but when you lose, when you're a Republican and our greatest speaker ever, Barack Obama, gets in office for 2 terms, I don't remember firebombs hitting, Planned Parenthood or anything from. I just don't remember those kinds of riots breaking out. So there was no foot stomping. There was, we're going to elect somebody else. That's how a democratic country works, right? I mean, democracy rather. And so when this foot stomping, is this going to be every time because it works every time?
I mean, you look at this headline: woke woman refuses to report violent gang.
Why? Why?
Because, she probably thinks these are a minority and we don't want anything that, and they have a hard time.
Well,
they're bad. Why we've tolerated gangs and stuff like that in this country, like we do, in particularly in California.
I don't know either.
They just don't want to go there. They don't want to go there, and they don't want to.
Well, they
don't want to go to war with the neighborhoods and stuff.
It's the same thing that's going to happen because some of those gang members are somebody's sons and cousins, and they're going to fight for them.
That's right.
And the people that are arguing for them aren't the people who are directly affected by them. And if it's not in your backyard, you don't care. And it's really rough pill to swallow. But I wish people would take the blinders off and just look at things with a little bit of common sense and then have a conversation instead of throwing a Molotov cocktail or vice versa or pepper spraying, the crowd. Maybe we just come back to our roots, and that was the get together and explain what's going on. Okay, now what do we want to get out of this? We all said close the border, right? We all said that.
They did that.
They did that. Okay, good. Now what? Now what's next?
That.
Yeah,
keep that going.
That. But the next administration, we don't know. We don't know what they're going to do.
But I know that we're setting this thing up. So if they do get a Democratic administration in 3 more years, are we going to spend the first year just taking out undoing everything Trump did? We're going to live like that. We're going to be a yo-yo.
But can't somebody step to the table and just say, hey, look, some of these things were good. Some of these things were bad. Or is that a death sentence for a politician?
It's a death sentence for anybody to say anything Trump, like we've said since the beginning, if he cured cancer, they'd be mad about it.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
So it's just the extremes. You've got to get silence the 5% on both left and right. You've got to silence that. In your mind, at least, as you think.
It's hard, Jimmy. It's so
really hard because those are the loudest people.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the loudest ones. So those are the ones you're going to hear, and it's just. But it's you can't just become an ostrich though.
Yeah, you're.
And
right.
I know some people prefer to do that. In fact, I do it at times where I just can't watch what the evening news is going to deliver me today.
On that note, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to give you the top 10 places to get the news, and not in any order. I'm just going to give you the list, and you tell me what you think, because I trust you. You've done this for a long time. You've been through the Martin Luther King era. You've seen all of that stuff, and you've listened to it. You've been on the news, a part of the news, reporting the news, being first on the scene, been around, places that you would know. So I'm going to give these to you. You tell me. Don't say I'll give them to you all. Associated Press, Reuters, BBC, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, New York Times, C-SPAN, NPR, Forbes, NBC News.
Now, where did that list come from? Where'd you get that list?
This came from a tech company. 10 most unbiased. 10 most unbiased news sources.
That's a lot of crap.
So out of those, what would be the
All right,
your
first of all,
pick?
NPR is very left-leaning.
Okay, so
There's
they're
nothing
out.
right-leaning about
They're
them
out.
at all.
Okay, all right.
Associated Press has become really left-leaning.
Okay, so out.
They're not anywhere close to being
Reuters,
fair anymore. Reuters, I don't know enough about them. It was a foreign news service, so I can't say.
BBC,
BBC, depending on what the story is.
Wall Street Journal.
Depending on what the story is, but generally they skate the middle pretty carefully, and they're right wing on some things, left wing on others.
Okay, so pretty balanced. Wall Street Journal.
It just depends on the story. Yeah,
Bloomberg.
depends on the story too.
We know New York Times already.
New York Times is if it's in politics, they lean left,
Okay.
but there are other stories.
Okay, fair.
That they
That's
do
fair.
that are great. That I subscribe to the New York Times.
Okay.
I don't go there enough, but on the politics, they're just unrelenting left leaning.
C-SPAN.
The guy got kicked off that I listened to on POTUS, C-SPAN. It depends. I mean, that's not
Okay.
really a news source.
Yeah.
That's like it's a channel that runs the Senate or the House.
Live. They do it live, right?
And I
So-
think they're trying to straddle the middle somewhat.
Okay.
So
Forbes.
Forbes is generally financially right-leaning, pro. I think they've been pretty pro-Trump. Again, you just got to know where these leans are coming from and lean in with it. ABC, if they're covering a storm or something, yeah, or CNN too. But when you come to politics, you know where they stand.
Why though?
Can't
Why?
hide it.
Why? If they can cover a storm without being
Well, CNN
I
used to
ju-
be CNN back when they were formed. Used to do these shows, point counterpoint or whatever they
I
called
do
it.
remember that. Yeah, that's what it was called.
Was that the name of it?
I think so.
You know,
yeah.
they had a liberal person, and it was like watching Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
Except one was on the left and one was on the right, and they both did both sides. And frankly, as much as some people hate Bill O'Reilly, he did that with his primetime show. He would have on that guy, that Boston gay congressman,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
his name,
Yeah.
Ben- Charlie.
Oh,
Franks.
Crossfire.
Crossfire. was the
Crossfire.
CNN thing,
That
right.
is what it was called. Yeah.
But O'Reilly always put on, and he would argue with these people. Mm-hmm. But that would be
Why
okay
don't they do
because
that? Yeah, I want.
they try sometimes, but they just lean so heavily. Like on CNN, they'll have a panel. It's got one Republican and like 8 Democrats. That's
Yeah.
not fair.
Yeah, Gutfield does that too. Those guys do the same.
Gutfeld does it where it's the other extreme.
Yeah.
And they try to do that on the 5, where they got one person that's Democrat and the rest, are very, very, right leaning.
I've often thought that poor person, they just, whoever it is that's on the other side, just gets a butt whooping every time. It's
Every
just
day
like,
you go out there to get a butt whipping. And really because of that, I think CNN went the way they did. Mm-hmm. And so you've got all these editors, that are generally left-leaning people because of their education and background, I think. They're mostly from New England schools and that type of thing. So they lean that way. But one of the confounding things to me saying all that is how a number of these people are anti-Israel. And I never understood that because there's a lot of people that are Jewish that are editors and run the media.
Yeah,
or used to
this
be.
is true. Yeah,
And
this is
how
true.
I would think we'd be leaning far right, for Israel, maybe more than we should.
Yeah, that is
But it
fascinating.
seems like it's the other way. So I've never understood how some of these people come down.
By the way, you brought that up, but by the way, how much have you heard about that lately? Nothing.
What, Israel?
Yeah, that whole thing.
The Gaza and all that thing.
Yeah, but we've had this Jewish hate, so to speak, going on.
that
and
seems to have calmed down. I hope it has.
I do too. I mean, I never understood it, to be honest
I
with you.
never understood it either.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But yeah, I can understand Muslims not liking them. That's a death match
Well, sure.
between the two. I get it. But
Wow, Crossfire.
but like this Wall Street Journal piece, they said there were 5,000 comments on Wall Street Journal piece telling Trump to back off in Minneapolis. And I think that's what's happening up there. I think they've got to recalibrate what they're doing everywhere. and check their systems of how they're doing it.
But respect
the
for
way they're
that.
doing
I mean, honestly, I gotta say it. Respect for that, right? Not hardlining it and going, nope, we're gonna empty that whole state.
No, what we're doing ain't working right now.
Right. So okay, fine. Let's go back and
you do
redraft.
that in war.
Yeah.
You do it in war.
Yeah.
If you were losing troops in anywhere, you would back
pull
off.
back. Sure you do.
And then regroup. That's it's basic. And so they definitely need to do that.
Yeah.
And they've got to figure a way how to get. I mean, this thing of the night. Finally, the Minneapolis. I think the National Guard showed up at that hotel.
Yeah. And
I
stop
mean,
that.
That's just awful.
Well, it scares me
that they would not. Police would not come if the federal agents called and asked for help. That's wrong.
I agree, but I also think about somebody like my wife who travels for business. All these people that are scared about, ICE coming and grabbing you and all that kind of stuff. I get it. Real fear. I get it. Okay, whatever. But at the same time, not whatever, but at the same time, my wife has to stay in a Hyatt hotel where maybe these ICE people are staying too. I don't know.
Yeah.
She travels all over the country. So
protesters decide they can tear up that hotel.
I don't like that
with
either.
Civilians in it.
I don't like that either.
No, I don't like it at all. And I mean, people break the law, need to go to jail. I don't care whose side doing it.
I agree. I agree with you, and I'm not.
Simple. I mean, they're black and white on that issue.
Wow, and you're not. You're pretty. Sometimes you're pretty gray. So a lot of respect for that.
If you're violating the law, you go to jail.
Simple.
Or you get you may beat the rap, but you ain't gonna beat the ride. And if they have to build bigger jails or stockades to put people in, let's do it. But you just can't go in there. And I'm sorry, the guy had a gun, and he took a gun to a protest. Even though you don't do that. I mean, you can't carry a gun into a football game. Come on, folks.
It's probably not the smartest move you can make.
You're not allowed to take a gun into, even in states where you got carry, you can't take it into a bar.
You can't take it into a bar. You can't take it into
You can't take it, and you can't take it to a protest.
You can't take it to a federal building. I'll tell you that right now.
You can't, even if you can carry, even illegal
that's
carry.
Correct. That is correct.
So we're just being crazy. You don't do a gun like that. Man would be alive today if he hadn't decided to strap on that gun. What was he going to do with it? For what purpose?
I don't know. I don't understand.
I mean, it's just, and then so you've got Republicans saying people shouldn't carry guns. You've got Democrats defending the right for this person to carry a gun. Right. We're all upside down.
Which 2 months ago was the other way around.
Yeah, or 2 days ago.
2 seconds.
So, but really, you don't take guns to a protest or a bar or a football game or that, and you don't go busting up people's church. I don't care who is in there.
Yeah.
Wait till the church is over.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's this whole, everything's out of control, with that whole mayhem bunch of people. So
no, I agree. Jimmy, another excellent podcast. I think they entertain me just as much as everybody listening and inform. I mean, that's what it's about. Infotainment, information, entertainment is what we do. Join us again next week right here on Sweeping the Country. Until then, I'm Derek Walker. I'm Jimmy Carter. Good day.